All right, let's dive straight in. We are locked in on game two, Eastern Conference semifinals. Celtics, Knicks. That's Wednesday, May 7th.
Yep. Big game after that OT thriller in game one.
Definitely. So we've looked at, CBS Sports, US Betting, SI, Wager Talk TV. Quite a bit of info out there.
There is a lot of angles.
And for this deep dive, we're trying to get you smart quickly. Right. So the big question, the focus today, what's the story with the total points, the over-under for this one?
Exactly, because game one, Knicks win 108-105 in overtime after being down big. So naturally, everyone's asking, are we going to see more points, less points? What's the vibe for game two?
Right. And just for context, Celtics are pretty big favorites for game two, like negative 10.5 points.
Yeah, sizable spread there, but like you said, we're zoning in on that total.
So the total, it opened around 211, is that right?
Yeah, 211 is the opener. We've seen a little movement, actually. Some spots dipped to 210.5.
Okay, a slight dip.
Slight dip.
Yeah.
But you still see 211 out there, even 211.5 in some places. So it's not like a huge consensus move downwards, kind of hovering.
Interesting. So, okay, let's get into it. The focus you mentioned is maybe leaning towards the over. What's pushing people or, the data in that direction?
Well, one interesting piece is the Sportsline projection model. They run these sims like 10,000 times, and their model is actually projecting 213 combined points. So that's, a couple points clear where the line is sitting, leaning over.
Okay, so a statistical model pointing towards the over, that's definitely noteworthy.
Right.
What else?
Then you look at some analysis like from the Wager Talk TV folks. One of their analysts explicitly mentioned leaning towards the over.
Even after how badly Boston shot in game one, I mean, wasn't it awful?
Oh, it was rough. Like 35% from the field
Well,
and just 25% from three-point range.
for how many attempts? It was a lot, right?
63-point attempts? You'd think that screams under.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the argument for the over then, given that performance?
Well, the thinking is twofold, really. First, even shooting that poorly, Boston still put up 100 points before overtime.
Fair play.
And second, the line being around 210.5 to 11 kind of implies a decent number of points anyway. The main expectation is just Boston can't possibly shoot that badly again, especially at home.
Right. Regression to the mean, basically. You expect Tatum, Brown, White, they're bound to hit more strengths.
Exactly. You'd think their percentages have to climb. It's just statistically very unlikely they have two games that bad back-to-back.
Makes sense. Anything else feeding that over perspective?
Yeah, actually, the Knicks free throw shooting in game one, it was not great.
Oh, yeah. What were
It's
they?
just 54%. They went 17 for 31 from the line. That's leaving a lot of points out there.
Wow, 17 for 31. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So improvement there could easily add a few points.
For sure. If they just shoot their, average percentage,
Yeah.
that alone could push the total up a bit and help get over the line.
Okay, so we have a model leaning over, analysts expecting Boston's shooting to bounce back significantly, and potential for more points from the Knicks just by hitting more free throws.
Yeah, it paints a picture where, despite game one maybe looking like a lower scoring grind at times, the potential for more points in game two is definitely there. Even the covers consensus, I think, saw like 68% of early picks leaning towards the over.
So some public money agrees too.
Seems that way, at least early on. Of course, we should mention not everything points over. Wager Talk also mentioned some baller systems on odds logic leaning under.
Okay, good to balance it. So there are counter arguments. Boston could shoot poorly again, maybe?
It's possible, yeah. And that slight downward tick in the line at some books shows not everyone is convinced it's going over. But the arguments for the over seem pretty compelling based on expected adjustments.
And player-wise, you've got scorers on both sides. Tatum's been averaging nearly 30 in the playoffs, Brunson over 31.
Right. Brunson's been incredible. And OG Anunoby had that big 29-point game. For Boston, Jaylen Brown's averaging 23. Derek White took 18 shots in game one. He's consistently scoring.
Plus, isn't Drew Holiday back for Boston? That should help their offense flow better, maybe create easier looks.
Yeah, Holiday's return is significant. He's listed as probable, expected to play. He should definitely help facilitate, maybe get them slightly better quality shots than just launching 63s.
Right. And briefly, any impact from rebounding? Boston got a lot of second chances in game one, right?
Yeah.
Does that play into the total?
It can, yeah.
Okay.
More offensive rebounds mean more possessions, potentially more points. Porzingis being listed as probable with an illness is something to watch there, how his presence or absence affects the glass.
Okay, makes sense. So wrapping this up, the lean seems to be cautiously maybe towards the over.
I'd say based on the info we've sifted through, yeah. The Sportsline model points that way. The Wager Talk analysis expecting Boston's shooting improvement makes a lot of sense. and the Knicks free throws. It feels like there are more pathways to a higher score than a lower one compared to Game 1.
So for you listening, if you're looking for that quick takeaway, the potential for Boston to shoot closer to their average, combined with the Knicks possibly hitting more free throws, provides a solid case for expecting more points in Game 2, potentially pushing it over that 210.5 or 211 line.
Absolutely. It's about anticipating that positive regression, offensively speaking, for both teams in different ways.
Okay, so a final thought for you to chew on then. What adjustments do you really expect? Will Boston actually shoot better, or will they adjust their strategy if threes aren't falling early? And can the Knicks convert those freebies? How those questions play out will likely decide if this game sails over the total.
Good questions to ponder. It should be fascinating to watch unfold.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us for this focused deep dive.